Claire, and I'm a plant-based cooking instructor as well as a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. And I'm here to talk about some healthy swap outs for the holidays. One of the favorite things on my Thanksgiving table is mashed potatoes. I like potatoes anyway, and I don't know anybody who really doesn't. So we're going to look at some ways that we can make that mashed potato side dish trend toward the healthier and also pack in some extra nutrition. So potatoes are awesome. They have a great nutritional profile. They do get a bad rap because people tend to eat them with a lot of fatty, high stimulating foods like French fries with oil, right? Baked potatoes with sour cream and bacon, and you eat it with a steak, and it tends to change the way it functions in your body. So I love potatoes. I'm not taking them out of the mashed potatoes. You could do that. Most people know that you can, substitute with steamed cauliflower or something. So if you're trying to really be careful and stick to a specific regime, you can do that. What I'm going to do is use the potatoes, but pull out the fat, a lot of the salt, and other stimulating factors, and pack in some extra nutrition. So these are just some fancy potatoes I picked up. You can use russets, you can use Yukon Golds, whatever you like. I'm pretty sure you know how to boil a potato. If you don't, it's really easy. Take them out of the bag and throw them into the pot with some water. Now, my cheat as far as developing flavor is to throw in whole garlic cloves, right? So these are multicolored, so if I mash these, they're going to be pretty and kind of pink colored, which some people might not like, but I think that's fancy. Garlic. I would probably throw a good half of this head of garlic in here, right? And I don't even have to chop it because it's going to boil down. So I'm going to just peel them and pop them in there. If you're too lazy for that, as I often am, you also can use minced garlic and chop that in. But garlic cloves are hard to beat because they have a mildness and a complexity of flavor that the dried stuff doesn't quite match. It doesn't mean that you can't substitute, but I usually use them both. All right, so my potatoes are boiled, they're soft, and I'm gonna start mashing them, right? So how am I going to pack some extra nutrition in here and maybe leave out some of the butter and cream and things that generally you would just toss in without even thinking? So number one, instead of cream, you can definitely use some kind of a plant-based milk, right? So there's so many different kinds, right? You could use almond, there's soy, they have oat milk, they've got walnut, hazelnut, whatever kind you want. The soy milk does have a little under flavor, so if you're feeding people that aren't used to it, I might not go with that. I like it because it has a certain creaminess and fat content, but you have to be careful if you're feeding a bunch of people. I'm gonna go oat milk just because it's open and it's super creamy and it's cheap. You can make this yourself. If you're like, oh, I want to try that, but I don't want to go buy a carton of oat milk, grab some oats, throw them in a blender with clean water and blend. Done. You might want to drain the crunchy pieces out. So the real trick comes when you try to add more nutrition to this. You've got a little bit of creaminess. You want to kind of thicken it up and give it that sort of savory deliciousness. I've talked about using nutritional yeast before. That's a good choice. It kind of makes it savory. You don't have to dump a ton in it, like a tablespoon or two. It'll just give you a little extra, savoriness to it. I tend to throw in beans. Now these are northern beans. I go white beans, right? Because nobody's gonna even know they're in there. And I'll just dump them in, and you see, they're soft, right? They're gonna mash. I don't even have to cook them or blend them. I was gonna throw them in a blender and show you how to blend them with the plant milk, but you don't even have to do that. You've got hot potatoes. Put in as many or as little as you want. You could start out, the first time you make it, throw like just a few in and mash them up. It's like experimenting with your family. But I can easily put in half this can, or I would probably be making double this amount of potatoes for our group. So whole can, mash it up with the garlic, add your other seasonings, and you're done. Because this is giving you that kind of more heavy, creamy texture that you might miss by not adding butter and cream. Now you might say, well, is there an easier way? I don't want to open a can. I don't want to drain the beans, or my family's going to see that on the counter and be like, where are you putting those beans in? Yes, there is. Hummus. Hummus is a magic condiment. It makes everything delicious. It already has seasoning, right? So pick the one that you like. This is just the basic Sabra kind. Yes, it has some oil in it, but it's definitely different than sticking half a stick of butter in, right? This has beans. It has a little bit of tahini, which is ground sesame seed, that also creates richness. So mash your potatoes, put your little splash. You don't even need a lot of the plant milk, a splash. You might not even need it if they're really watery, and like if your water is super seasoned well. Don't pour it all off. Like save it and kind of taste and see how that works. And then just grab a scoop of hummus and mix it in. People will freak out. They'll be like, oh my God, these potatoes are so good. What did you do to them? And you can just say, it's a secret recipe. Or if you want to be nice, you could say, I just added hummus. So mashed potatoes can be super healthy. Leave out the added fats. Be careful with the salt. You're going to throw gravy on there anyway. That's going to probably be pretty salty. And add as many healthful, nutritious, whole plant foods to them as you can. Hummus is a good choice, beans, and even if you're not going to make cauliflower mashed potatoes, you can add a little of that cauliflower rice into them, right? Little tiny pieces. I couldn't even cut it that small. Buy the frozen bag, you know, cook it off, and just, you can even throw it in the water with the potatoes, right? You don't have to put a lot. Put 1 cup in and see if it passes muster. You can test like a week beforehand. Oh, I made these new mashed potatoes. What do you think? Or don't tell them they're new. Anyway, mashed potatoes, add some cauliflower, add some hummus, leave out the butter, and make your Thanksgiving super healthy.